Your brain is a terrible piece of equipment to be trying to remember all of the things that you've committed to, all the things that people are counting on you for, all the things that you need to get done with on a daily basis. If you, I would argue that your level of anxiety, stress, and frustration will instantly drop 10, 15, 20%. You don't show up in your week without a clearly defined. One of the ideas was what he called a place that had the tag, you have to do what's best for you, en route to the productivity and the level of success you're chasing. And my hope and wish for you is that you develop some sort of Hey, welcome back to the show. I want to talk today about your not to-do list. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but have you ever found yourself stressed out because you've got too many things on your notepad, or too many things on your to-doist, or your Slack, or your ClickUp, or your Asana, and it just seems like things just keep piling up and piling up and piling up and piling up. The notifications now come from 85 places. They come from your email, they come from your text message, they come from your Slack, they come from your voicemail, they come from your Instagram, they come from your LinkedIn DMs. The notifications and the things that need our attention seems like it's out of control. Well, today, my friend, I want to share with you an idea. It's a strategy that I learned probably 15 years ago or so, probably more like 18 to 20 years ago, that I have had to recommit to on a continuous basis. The more and more our attention gets spread out across these platforms and across these tools. Because inside of all of this is the state of our mental health. Inside of all of this is our state of well-being. Inside of all of the chase for success and progress and technological advancement is the true meaning of our journey. And we're the only ones who can decide what that true meaning looks like. And I will tell you that in the chase, especially as an entrepreneur, what a lot of people don't know in the world of entrepreneurship is that you see on social media, specifically today, not so much days when I first got started, but you see what looks to be things being all good. It looks like everything is popping. It looks like everything is jumping off. It looks like everything is on the up and up. But in the lives of most leaders and most entrepreneurs and people that are even just everyday folks who are just trying to make it in this thing called life, is that we all have a set of problems that nobody knows about. We all are going through something. And so it's really interesting when I think about our daily productivity. And I've given a lot of thought to this. I've taken a lot of classes. I read the book. I remember reading David Allen's Getting Things Done, and how it at the time revolutionized how I worked and processed through my day. At a time 20 plus years ago when he wrote that book, it's actually probably 25 years ago that he wrote that book, about the way I remember I walked away with understanding, here's how you process all the inputs. Okay. That was one of the core ideas, was how do you process all these inputs? And I remember learning that the brain is a terrible place for storage of things to do. Your brain is a terrible thing, a terrible piece of equipment to be trying to remember all of the things that you've committed to, all the things that people are counting on you for, all the things that you need to get done with on a daily basis. And that was what I remember taking away as one of the big takeaways and one of the breakthroughs in how I've been able to process and get through and do as much as I've done. But in all of that productivity, we get caught up in this idea of time management. And I think time management thinking is wrong. I think it's wrong from the standpoint that you cannot manage time. You can only manage what you do with time. And I know that that sounds like duh, Darrell, but hear me out on this. I want to talk to you about your not to-do list, your not to-do list. So let's start with some of the obvious that I would recommend. And I don't know what you do, how you do it, what your role is, what your responsibilities are. I don't know if you own 15 companies and you're the CEO of all of them, if you're the head of a department inside of one company, or you're responsible on a team of production. I don't know what that looks like. You might be someone who works from home. You might also then have children. I don't know, but what I do know is we all have more than we need to do on our list every day. Okay. Let's start number one with this number one piece of technology called a cell phone, right? So in the cell phone is this little tab called notifications. Let me give you the first hack. Turn them off. Turn them off. Why do you need every notification from Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Slack and your email and your CRM? Why do you need all of them? Plus, you got text messages and phones and voicemails, and then you get every notification of an email and an upcoming meeting. I think some of us like to feel important because it tells us it's like a feeling of validation that we have so many things to do. The fact of the matter is, and by the way, I've turned off notifications on almost every app on my phone. I think back in 2014 or 2013. The first time I did it, I'd gone on a vacation. And it was actually not long after I'd gotten the iPhone. I think I got the iPhone around 2013. I think it was not long after I got the iPhone, and I remember going on vacation. And I've always had a practice. I've always had a practice of turning my phone off when I'm on vacation, meaning I don't engage in work. My team knows that I'm gone. We've got the mechanisms, we got the people, we got the systems in place. When I go, I go. I'm not the entrepreneur and the CEO, and founder who is still at work while he's on, in Hawaii, or still at work when he's in Miami, or still at work when he's in Mexico, still at work when he's across on a cruise ship somewhere. No, no. I'm gone because it's needed, it's necessary. Okay, so number one idea that I have for you today, and I know you're going to push back. If you can't turn them all off, if you can't turn, by the way, well, Darrell, what if I miss an important phone call? What if I miss an important text? Well, there are ways for you to set up what are called emergency contacts so it bypasses those notifications. For example, when I'm in meetings and if my family calls of any sort, the ones that I've put into the emergency contact, which is almost, I have a small family, so if you reach me as family, it gets through. But it doesn't mean I answer the call. It doesn't mean I answer the text. But here's the thing. If you turn the notifications off, I would argue that your level of anxiety, stress, and frustration will instantly drop 10, 15, 20%. What do you do instead? You schedule time to go into the places where people are likely to be messaging you. So the difference is rather than you reacting to the notification, you schedule time to go in to that notification. Okay. So there is enough time in the day to say, okay, from 7:15 to 7:30, I'm going to process email. From 7:15 to 7:45, I'm going to or 7:30 to 7:45, I'm going to process all of my inboxes from social media, if that's how you roll. And by the way, I bet the majority of what you get in any of those inboxes is noise in the first place. I open my email. I'm not unlike anyone else, and I don't know how many I get. It's not material, but I've decided how I even work through email over the 10 or 15 minutes that I'm scheduled to be in there. And it's a very simple process, right? So the first big idea that I want to share with you is one of the easiest hacks to start gaining back some control of your day and controlling the controllable, which is something if you've heard my podcast on the 4 C's, controlling the controllable is one of the best skills you can ever develop, right? You can't control everything and you can't control time. We already know that. So what do we do with the time? Okay. So if we have to do things such as be productive, be creative, be strategic, get goals, reach goals, take action, be in meetings, which all of those things are normal. Why don't we do the thing that helps us avoid stress and frustration? Step number one, turn off the notifications. If you can't turn them all off, just definitely be diligent to say, do I really need this notification that somebody responded to my post on social media? I'm going to let you judge that for your own situation. But I'm telling you, if you want to better manage your energy, because I think that's what you can control. Like, I feel like I'm an energy manager, not a time manager. Let me say that again, because I think that was important. I focus on managing how my energy flows throughout the day, not where the time goes throughout the day. The time's going to do what it does. There's nothing I can do about that. My job is to manage my energy in every and as many moments as I possibly can. One way to do that, turn off the notifications. Not to-do list. Item number 2. Don't be don't be as accessible to as many people as you currently are. Now, this is going to come across a little weird to some people. What do I mean by not being accessible? What that means is, for example, in my business, I don't give out my email address on purpose. First of all, it's kind of easy to find because it's pretty public. But when people want my phone number and my email address, if I don't determine that it has a use case that will increase my energy, then I do what I can to not give it out. Let me give you an example. On LinkedIn specifically, I am in the middle. I get pitched a lot on email. People want to connect and all that stuff. Most of the time when people connect with me on LinkedIn, they want to pitch me something, or they want me to invest in something, or they want me to look at something, or you know, I'd have to say 97 out of 100 people that connect with me on LinkedIn, the minute we finish the connection, some automated sales thing starts or whatever. They want to send me their pitch deck or whatever the case is. Like, right? So the reality is they'll say, "Hey, can I get your email to send the information to your email?" And my answer is no. You can send it to this specific channel, right? And I do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't have to now give up and open up my inbox to 1,000 other notifications. I can keep it siloed in that inbox, which I already told you I don't get notifications from. So I'll get to it when I get to it. One of the best things I learned reading David Allen's book back in the day, Getting Things Done. By the way, I still believe that some of the thinking that I learned back then is still applicable to this day. I don't holistically follow that system, but boy, that system from 2002, maybe up until maybe 5, 7 years ago, I really stuck to that model, or pretty close to that model. One of the ideas though was what he called a folder or a bucket or a filing place that had the tag read, review, read, review. There was another tag that I loved and I still use called someday, maybe, someday, maybe. So these two file cabinets, if you will, digital file cabinets, where I store things that come into my world that I might be curious about, but it certainly doesn't need my attention today. And so I'll either put it in the read review box or I'll put it in the someday maybe box. And someday maybe means someday maybe. That means maybe not. Right? Read review means that I don't have to read it anytime that I don't want to. And if I think about it, I'll go get to that folder when I've got nothing to do. So that's an easy way to filter. Okay. So number one, don't let those notifications ruin you. Number two, be less available or less of open for people to get at you. Number three, this is going to be something that I think is easy to do, but people won't do it. Easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. And that is close all distractions when you're doing your work. That means whether you're using a tool and you're blocking out social media, you're blocking out extra tabs, you're closing the actual software. So if I'm working, Slack is closed, Zoom chat is closed, Google email is closed. Anywhere where I could get pinged is closed. You can't get in there. Last thing is the phone is on airplane. The phone is on airplane. You can't call through. It doesn't happen. You'll have now the time that you've allocated for yourself to do the work that you said you were going to do during the time you said you were going to do it. And I'll give you another one that's going to be really helpful to you. And it'll be amazing how many days go by when you finish the thing you said you were going to do. You finish the things and the projects and the tasks that you said were important, and you end up with less days and nights and evenings where you're regretting the 8 hours prior or 10 hours prior or 15 hours prior that you just spent feeling like you never got it done. I remember the days when I would finish the day and I'm like, what did I get done today? Because I let the walls down and I let everyone else's agenda get in my way. It's an interesting balance between the responsibilities you have as a leader, as a business owner, wherever you are in your life, and then mitigating that against making sure you have bracketed self time and self care and purposeful time for the meaningful work that you have to get done. Not to do list item next is don't show up in your week without a schedule. Don't show up in your week without a clearly defined schedule. Now, let me be clear. A to-do list, a to-do list is not a schedule. A list of things to do is not a schedule. Opening your project management system, your Asana, your ClickUp, your Slack, that's not a schedule. Schedules are defined blocks of time where you are going to be interacting with someone, doing something, speaking to someone in a meeting, or blocked out time to get your work done. Blocked out time to get your work done. And in the not to do addition to that is don't come into your week without a schedule that's clearly defined. But number two, don't schedule so much that you are back to back to back to back to back to back. It looks good when you share it on social media. I don't know why people do this stuff. And I look at people's schedule on social media and they're like, oh, look at how much I got done today. You're tired and you know it. You're tired and you know it. How many people go through the day? Oh, I didn't have a chance to eat. For what? Oh, I didn't have a chance to get up from my desk. Why? No one was holding you there, right? It's not a good. Why are we bragging about this stuff? We talk about our mental care and our self-care and our stress load and all of the things that's going on. Why on earth then are we not managing our own energy? Every day on my calendar, there's a block for lunch. It's set for 45 minutes. Do I need 45 minutes to eat? Most days, no. But if nothing else, I get up from my desk. Well, by the way, I get up on another thing. I'm going to actually give you one more here before we wrap up. But I get up from my desk. I stretch my legs. I'm actually standing at my desk right now. So I stand through about anywhere from a third to 2/3 of my day. I'll stand. It just depends on what I feel and what I'm up to. But I'm standing at a standing desk. But even though I'm standing, I will still get away from the desk. I will get away from the office. I will get outside and get some sun. I will get outside and take a walk. I will get outside, get in my car and take a drive, even if I don't need to. I work from home. I don't know if you work from home, but you have to break up the energy sometimes just to catch a break, like a half time, like a quarterly break, whatever it may be. Okay. Be mindful of this back to back to back. And I have days when I have 10 meetings. There's just no way around some of that. But make sure that you are not intentionally doing that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, week after week after week after week. Make sure you've got your time. I have time first thing in the morning. You can't schedule a meeting with me before 8 a.m. I can schedule a meeting before 8 a.m., but you can't schedule one on my calendar before 8 a.m. with my executive assistant or through my automated system. You can't schedule a meeting with me after 3 p.m. Pacific time. I can schedule a meeting after 3. She can schedule me with a meeting after 3 if it's approved. The world can work with me from Monday through Wednesday from 8 to 3 p.m. And I'm willing to go back to back to back through most of those hours, Monday through Wednesday, with the exception of that lunch 45-minute window. Thursday belongs to me. Friday belongs to me. Thursday belongs to me for a specific set of reasons. Friday belongs to me for a specific set of reasons. However, I have the discretion. I have the discretion to schedule a meeting on said Thursday or said Friday. Okay. This is about controlling your energy, not controlling your time. Time is going to do what it does. You have to do what's best for you en route to the productivity and the level of success you're chasing. I think I'm going to end it right there. I think I've gotten the point there. You need a not to do list, right? When are you not going to take a meeting? When are you not going to answer your email? When are you not going to take the text message? When are you not going to open your social media? When are you not going to reply to Slack? When are you not going to work until 11 o'clock at night? When do you shut down your day? Like, I don't work past certain times in the evening. There are a couple of times where I pass that and I make discretionary reasons to do that. So I'm not trying to say holistically this is a unicorn, kind of utopian scenario. There are certainly things when projects are moving around where we stretch past the boundaries, but holistically, we have a system and you have to decide what that is for you. You've got to decide what it means to you to have that freedom, that flexibility, so that you have the wherewithal and the bandwidth, and most importantly, the energy in a world where things are evolving so fast. And my hope and wish for you is that you develop some sort of not to do list. And maybe you add one thing here, one thing there, and you just start to work into it. And I bet your productivity goes through the roof, not because you have more to do, but because you've confined with which the time you are going to do it in. And you've made decisions and selections about very strategic things you're going to do and very strategic things that you're not going to do. I'm not a productivity guru, but I've been at this for a bunch of years. I don't like to give talks on productivity because I think it's kind of a weird talk because everybody has their own style. But I will tell you, uh, David Allen's Getting Things Done was very, very helpful. And some of the things we've talked about here with regard to time blocking and turning off, I mean, just these few things are worth everything when it comes to managing your energy instead of trying to manage your time. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening, and I'll see you again on another episode of the MindShift Podcast. Take care. Hit the subscribe button so you can become a part of the MindShift community. We'll help you shift your mind so you can shift your results.